Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into part 2 of our series on shocking facts about North Korea. In part 1 we scratched the surface of this enigmatic nation, a country so secretive it makes a mime convention look like a Jerry Springer episode. Buckle up because we're about to embark on a truly bizarre journey. Alright, let's talk about the internet, shall we? It's a place where we can connect with friends, watch endless videos, and even learn new things at the click of a button. That magical realm where cat videos reign supreme, and you can find a tutorial for just about anything. It's also a place where conspiracy theories spread faster than a Kardashian marriage announcement, and memes are the universal language. Well, in North Korea, the internet is less of a magical realm and more of a heavily guarded vault, accessible only to a select few. It's like having a library where most of the books are locked away. Most North Koreans are stuck with Kwangmyong, a heavily censored, government-controlled intranet. Imagine an internet where you can only visit a handful of approved websites. No scrolling through endless memes, no access to global news, and no social media to keep up with friends and family. No catching up on the latest season of your favorite show, no binge watching, and no streaming services to speak of, and definitely no angrily tweeting about the barista who spelled your name wrong. The freedom to express yourself online is non-existent. And for those lucky few who are granted access to the global internet, well, let's just say Big Brother is alive and well in North Korea. We're talking constant surveillance, every click monitored, strict censorship, with many websites blocked and access to information severely restricted, and the ever-present threat of punishment for visiting the wrong website. It's a digital prison where freedom is a distant dream. Next time you find yourself complaining about slow internet speeds, just remember the poor souls in North Korea who can only dream of such problems. Their reality is a stark reminder of how precious our digital freedoms are. Picture this. You're 17 years old, full of dreams, ready to take on the world. But in North Korea, there's only one thing on your mind: the mandatory 10 years of military service you're about to endure. Women may only serve for a paltry 7 years, but trust me, that's still 7 years too many. We're talking about a military known for its grueling training, harsh discipline, and questionable human rights record. Imagine spending a decade of your life marching in lockstep, memorizing propaganda, and dreaming of the day you can finally taste freedom again. Even after you've served your time, the military still has its clutches firmly embedded in your life. Alright, let's talk about Juche, because frankly, no exploration of North Korea's eccentricities is complete without delving into the belly of this ideological beast. Juche, which roughly translates to self-reliance, might sound harmless enough at first. This ideology, conceived under Kim Il-sung, has become the guiding principle of North Korea, shaping everything from its economic policies to its cultural output. It's like living inside a self-affirmation gone horribly, horribly wrong. Juche has led to economic stagnation, chronic shortages, and a level of isolation that would make a hermit crab blush. For the Kim regime, it's been a recipe for control, a way to justify their iron grip on power. Now, we're going to talk about something truly grim: labor camps. These are not just any camps, they are places of unimaginable suffering and despair. These camps are notorious for their brutality, their inhumane conditions, and the sheer terror they inspire in the hearts of North Koreans. They are places where hope goes to die. Imagine being sent to a place where forced labor is the norm, where starvation is a constant threat, and where torture is considered just another Tuesday. It's a living nightmare. These camps, known as Kwanliso, are often shrouded in secrecy, hidden away in remote corners of the country. They are designed to be invisible to the outside world. The stories that have trickled out paint a chilling picture of a system designed to break the human spirit. Survivors speak of relentless abuse and dehumanization. People are imprisoned for the flimsiest of reasons: criticizing the government, practicing religion, or even just being related to someone who fell out of favor with the regime. Entire families can be punished for one person's perceived disloyalty. The conditions in these camps are nothing short of horrific. Overcrowding, filth, and disease are rampant. Prisoners are often subjected to physical and psychological abuse, and many don't survive their sentences. The lucky few who do escape carry the scars for life. Let's talk about freedom of movement, shall we? You know, that little thing that allows you to pack your bags, hop in your car, and embark on a spontaneous road trip. Well, in North Korea, spontaneity is about as welcome as a vegan at a barbecue festival. Forget hopping in your car, most North Koreans don't even own cars, and even if they did, they'd need special permits to travel within the country. Leaving the country? Don't even think about it. Crossing the border without permission is considered a serious crime, punishable by imprisonment or worse. For those brave souls who do manage to escape, they face a perilous journey, often fraught with danger and uncertainty. Alright, let's talk about the Kim family, shall we? This family has been at the helm of North Korea for decades, shaping the nation's identity and its people's lives in ways that are hard to fathom, because no discussion of North Korea would be complete without mentioning the dynasty that has ruled the country with an iron fist for over 70 years. Their influence is pervasive and all-encompassing. Imagine growing up in a country where the leaders' portraits adorn every wall, in every home, school, and public building. Their speeches are broadcast on every channel, and their words are treated as gospel. Their birthdays are national holidays, celebrated with grand parades and public festivities. From a young age, North Koreans are bombarded with propaganda that glorifies the Kim family, teaching them to revere their leaders as almost divine figures, portraying them as infallible saviors who can do no wrong. It's like living inside a giant echo chamber, where the same messages are repeated over and over again. Any dissenting voices are swiftly silenced, ensuring that the regime's narrative remains unchallenged. The regime even claims that Kim Jong-il invented the hamburger, a bizarre assertion that is accepted without question. They also say that Kim Jong-un doesn't need to use the bathroom, a claim that adds to his mythical status. And that the current leader is a musical prodigy who composed 6 operas by the age of 18, further cementing his larger-than-life persona. For the millions of North Koreans who have never known anything else, this is their reality. A reality that is meticulously crafted and maintained by the regime. A reality carefully curated and controlled by the regime, leaving little room for any alternative perspectives or truths. Let's talk about media, shall we? You know, that wonderful world of movies, music, and news that keeps us entertained, informed, and perpetually glued to our screens? Well, in North Korea, the media landscape is less about entertainment and more about indoctrination. We're talking about a country where the airwaves are filled with state-sponsored propaganda, where the only movies you'll find are about the glorious achievements of the Kim dynasty. Access to foreign media is strictly prohibited, and possession of such contraband can lead to severe punishment. It's a stark reminder that while the rest of the world debates the merits of free speech, North Korea remains firmly entrenched in a media blackout. Alright, let's talk about food, shall we? You know, that basic human necessity that keeps us alive, that brings us joy, and that we often take for granted. Well, in North Korea, food is less about enjoyment and more about survival. We're talking about a country where chronic food shortages are the norm, where famine is a constant threat, and where the government's mismanagement of the agricultural sector has left millions struggling to feed themselves and their families. North Korea's agricultural policies, combined with international sanctions and a series of natural disasters, have created a perfect storm of food insecurity. The situation is particularly dire in rural areas, where farmers struggle to eke out a living from the country's infertile soil. Next time you're complaining about the price of groceries, just remember the people of North Korea, who are struggling to survive on a daily basis. Alright, let's talk about fashion, shall we? You know, that wonderful form of self-expression that allows us to showcase our individuality, our creativity, and our questionable taste in hats. Well, in North Korea, fashion is less about expressing yourself and more about conforming to the strict dictates of the state. We're talking about a country where your haircut, your clothes, and even your accessories are subject to government regulation. The government justifies these strict dress codes as a way to promote unity, discipline, and a sense of national pride. But let's be honest, it's really about control, about suppressing individuality, and about ensuring that everyone conforms to the regime's narrow definition of what is acceptable. Alright, let's talk about sanctions, shall we? Because no discussion of North Korea would be complete without mentioning the web of international sanctions that have been imposed on the country. Sanctions are a complex issue, often fraught with unintended consequences, and there's no doubt that the North Korean people have borne the brunt of these economic restrictions. But it's important to remember that these sanctions are not imposed in a vacuum. They are a response to the actions of the North Korean government, A government that has repeatedly prioritized its military ambitions over the well-being of its people. Some argue that sanctions are ineffective, that they only serve to punish the North Korean people, while doing little to change the behavior of the regime. They send a clear message to the North Korean government that its actions have consequences. So there you have it, folks. 10 more shocking facts about North Korea that will leave you both fascinated and deeply disturbed. If you found this video even remotely enlightening, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your friends. And be sure to let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like us to explore in future videos. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and for goodness sake, try to avoid ending up on a government watch list.